Hey folks, I got my hands on Greek Monsters, the new Horrified. This is the third game in the series of Horrified. Then you have American Monsters, and now we've got Greek Monsters. So my question is, did I miss an opportunity to share Greek Monsters for Halloween, or is it a game that you can play all year long? This video was brought to you by Noble Knight Games. More about them at the end of the video. So if you have not heard of this system, Horrified, you have got to check it out. And I would recommend just starting with Horrified the original. You're going to catch monsters like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, the Mummy, and the Wolfman. So these are those classic horrified creatures that we see in all of our early cinema. These are just those, recognizable, identifiable, pop with character. And not only that, the original board itself is very uniquely designed for the Creature from the Black Lagoon, with these fascinating water spaces that allow that creature to really make some time and get from place to place, trying to chase down and haunt all of the characters. So in this system, players are working together to try to defeat these monsters, and they are all on this grid board that is location specific for a variety of things, but they're going to grab up items that allow them to defeat the monsters and to defend themselves when the monsters creep up on them while they are just looking the other direction. There are also going to be bystanders, or people that live in this world that the characters are trying to save as well. So because this is a cooperative game, players are going to win together or lose together, and one of the ways to lose is by getting defeated by the monsters a certain number of times until you reach the skull spot. And that means that you let those bystanders die, or you were defeated because you didn't have enough defense or things to discard, items to get rid of to fend off the monsters. Now, the cool thing about Horrified in the system itself is that there are all these mini puzzles. So every single monster functions uniquely based on what you need to do to defeat them. And every single one of them does a different thing. They behave differently. They have different frenzy numbers. They have different attack strengths and abilities. And so it just makes it for a really fun game and a super replayable game with a different combination of monsters. So original Horrified, thumbs up. American Monsters, here are some of the monsters you're going to see in the American Monsters. Chupacabra, Banshee of the Badlands, Bigfoot, Mothman, Ozark Howler, Jersey Devil. So these creatures are more of the paranormal kind or type, and just like the original game, they have very different features, different MO, and different ways of being defeated. They are little mini puzzles in and of themselves. And now we've got Greek Monsters with a brand new board and brand new monsters to defeat in a variety of ways. This is just yet again that really satisfying hour-long cooperative strategy game that just has cool, unique player powers, awesome perks or boost cards, and just a wonderful, just bite in and just go for it. It feels like you're kind of in a movie with these creatures, which I think just holds up game after game after now game with these Greek monsters. So here are the monsters you're going to face in this game. Medusa, Chimera, Cerberus, Basilisk, Siren, and the Minotaur. So these are the creatures that I'm really familiar with. So I have the weirdest experience, the weirdest upbringing. My dad was in the Air Force, so we moved around a lot when I was a kid, and we lived on the island of Crete for a year. And so when I was really young, I learned all about Greek mythology, and my mom, we went all over the place. We walked all over the place. My mom would tell me all the stories, and it was just part of our life. It was so strange and weird. I don't think everyone had that kind of Greek mythology as part of your early childhood stories. But for me, this has just a real nice everyday place. It has this kind of long-lasting. It's been around for even longer than all of these horrified creatures and the American monsters. So for me, I kind of question, is this a Halloween game? Is this a horror or scary game? And I'm gonna say maybe they made the best Horrified with the Greek monsters because it kind of has this timelessness, this, you can play this all year round and it doesn't feel like you're playing a scary game or a Halloween game like the other two do. Because the characters here that you're saving are other kind of heroes of Greek mythology. You've got Jason, Circe, Orion, Arachne, Midas, Daedalus, Hippolyta, Chiron, Atalanta, Io. I mean, these are the characters that it's like you root for them against the villains. And the villains are just, they burst out of Hades and they're coming after you. So there is this like attempt at being scary. There's even like this monster eye on the cover. And of course, because we're dealing with, banishing all of these monsters back to Hades or wherever they came from, it kind of has this horrific, take to it, but it just doesn't feel very Halloween-y to me. So I think that during the year when it's not kind of fall, I'm probably going to be pulling out Greek monsters. And maybe I'll just really want a particular type or style of play when it comes to the baddies and how they work. Again, all the mini puzzles are very unique and interesting. All the boards for all the games are very interesting and unique, even though the system is exactly the same. They are doing slight changes and adjusting and adding and really altering things to make it feel just different enough. But I really like Greek monsters. I like this third Horrified. I am going to probably be playing this one more so than the other two during the year. So I don't think I missed out on sharing Horrified Greek monsters with you for Halloween. Play this throughout the whole holiday season and into the new year because it just has this rich history and this culture that I just really, really like. Just to give you a little bit of a taste, Cerberus is defeated by knocking down the doors of the Underworld, and you have to do 5 different door pieces, which means you're rolling the battle dice that you use to have the monsters attack players during the monster phase. And once you do that, then you can send him to his gate. And that's what this game offers as a new component. There are these 4 gates that you are going to be placing shuffle up, face down, in locations that are marked, and you have to go and discover the gates to find out where is Cerberus's gate, where is Medusa's gate, where are these monsters' gates, and so you can send them there as the place to banish them back to Hades or the Underworld. Really, really cool. For the Chimera, you have to essentially put their 3 heads to sleep at different places after discovering the lair, and then you have to take one of each of the colored items, which there are 3 of, and we found that to be really challenging. So this is a little bit higher difficulty than Cerberus. The basilisk is really interesting because you can go and essentially have these items blessed and put these items on the basilisk's map so that you can get a +2 bonus to defeating it because it needs 30 plus in total item value to defeat it. So it has a low complexity, but it also is kind of like this ticking, time bomb. You have to really get those blessed items at these certain locations to really get all 30 to then banish the basilisk. Medusa is formidable because she is going to send you all the way across the board if her little exclamation point symbol is triggered. That's her special ability. But you also have to make sure that you are kind of pushing her around the map so that she can see herself in the mirrors that are placed out on the board in certain locations. So she's looking at her own reflection, turning to stone essentially, because that's what she does to people. And then you have to push her back into her lair at the very end after she looks at herself in the mirrors. Really, really challenging. Like I said, formidable. The siren has this kind of memory feel to it where you have these face down tomes and you're able to look at a couple at a time and you are trying to reveal these and match them. Just, I think, pretty low complexity, but you have to really remember what's going on and you have to make sure that you mobilize the siren, much like all the other creatures. So the hardest of all the creatures is the Minotaur, because you have to create this labyrinth for the Minotaur to essentially run through, and it's a little challenging to get it all lined up and to make sure that you've got this kind of rampaging Minotaur corralled properly. So pretty high complexity with that one. And with all the games, you can combine and use a varying number of monsters depending on how hard you want it to be or how easy you want it to be. So overall, just a lovely addition to the Horrified series. I'm going to say series because I can't imagine they're going to stop at 3. It's not just a trilogy. But I do appreciate all 3 of the games and what they offer. They are just different enough, especially with the boards and with the creatures and how they function and act, but also their puzzles. They are not all the same. They don't act the same, and you have to do different things to defeat them. And it makes for, again, replayability, loads of fun. This is a cooperative game, and I just really, really enjoy it. And now I can enjoy Horrified year-round with Greek monsters and not feel weird. But you can always play any of these any time of the year. Don't get me wrong. Pull them out. People are just going to love them. But I think the other 2 are really more well-suited for Halloween and scary times and fall and winter. But now, Greek monsters, love. All right, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned. I'll see you next time. And in my house, we have 2 rooms in the basement dedicated to laundry and monsters. So that's where we keep all of our American monsters and our Greek monsters.
Here at Noble Knight Games, we've been carefully growing the world's largest selection of board games, role-playing games and dice, war games, miniatures and paints, card games, and more. Going on 25 years now. Our rustic castle contains more game and hobby goodness than you can shake a stick at. Complete with careful packaging and the finest customer service the land can provide. You can buy, sell, trade from anywhere in the world, just like nature intended. Noble Knight Games.